Have you ever felt it? That quiet, creeping suspicion that the universe has a personal vendetta against you? A sense that you are on the receiving end of some cosmic joke, or worse, a deliberate punishment. It's a feeling that often arrives not with a bang, but with a series of quiet, demoralizing whispers. The promotion that goes to someone else for the third time. The relationship that ends just when you started to feel safe. The sudden, inexplicable obstacle that appears on the one path that seemed clear. You look at the sky, at the ceiling, at your own reflection, and you ask, why? What did I do to deserve this? You feel as though you are playing a grand game of chess against an invisible opponent who changes the rules at will. An opponent who seems to delight in cornering your king time and time again. You feel singled out, cursed, as if you missed a crucial memo about how to live correctly that everyone else seems to have received. And in that feeling of cosmic injustice, a profound and wearying loneliness sets in. But what if I were to suggest something entirely different? What if I told you that this feeling of being punished is not a sign that you are on the wrong path, but a definitive, resounding signal that you are finally beginning to wake up to the true nature of the path itself? What if this constant friction, this sense of being tested and broken, is not a punishment at all, but a preparation, a kind of sacred tempering? Imagine a master blacksmith forging a legendary blade. Does the blacksmith coddle the steel? Does he keep it warm and comfortable? No. He plunges it into the searing fire, pulls it out glowing and vulnerable, and then hammers it upon the anvil. He strikes it again and again, folding it, shaping it, beating the impurities out of it. To the steel, if it could feel, this would surely feel like a relentless and cruel punishment. It is being burned, beaten, and bent out of shape. But the blacksmith sees a different story. He knows that only through this violent, repetitive, and intensely stressful process can the steel become what it is destined to be: strong, resilient, sharp, and true. The fire and the hammer are not punishments. They are the very instruments of its becoming. Now look at your life. Look at the fires you have endured, the hammers that have fallen upon you. Perhaps you are not being punished. Perhaps you are simply being forged. You see, the root of this feeling of punishment comes from a profound misunderstanding we have been taught since birth. We have been conditioned to see life as a transactional system, a great cosmic courtroom where good deeds are rewarded and bad deeds are punished. We are taught to believe in a linear, predictable script. If you study hard for 22 years, you get a good job. If you are a good and agreeable person, you will find a loving partner. If you work tirelessly for 40 years, you will have a comfortable retirement. It is a simple, straightforward ledger of cosmic accounting. Do A, and you will receive B. It's a comforting illusion because it gives us a sense of control, a map for the bewildering territory of existence. The problem, of course, is that it is a complete and utter fiction. It is a story we tell ourselves to make the magnificent, chaotic, and untamable dance of reality feel safe and manageable. This grand illusion is the sickness of the collective mind. Most people spend their entire lives frantically trying to balance this imaginary ledger. They collect gold stars, they avoid demerits, they compare their scorecards with their neighbors, and they live in a state of perpetual anxiety, terrified of the divine auditor who will surely find them wanting. They see a wealthy man and think, he must have done something right. They see someone suffering and think, they must have done something wrong. This is the game, the great pretense, and you have begun to see through it. Your pain, your frustration, your sense of being punished for no reason is the perfectly natural response of a sane consciousness to an insane system. Your exhaustion does not come from your personal failures within the game. It comes from the monumental, soul-crushing effort of trying to pretend that the game itself makes any sense at all. You are like a person at a masquerade ball who has suddenly realized that everyone else has forgotten they are wearing masks. You see the tired, frightened eyes behind the painted smiles. You hear the hollow sound of scripted laughter, and you can no longer participate in the charade. Your inability to keep playing by the nonsensical rules is not a flaw. It is a sign that your hearing has become too acute to ignore the discord in the orchestra. This is the moment of revelation, the great turning point. This is where we reframe the entire experience. It is the heart of the matter. We must take what you have labeled as your greatest failures, your most painful punishments, and examine them under a new light, not as indictments of your character, but as essential lessons from the universe, preparing you for a deeper reality. Let us begin with the loss of a role, the failure of a career. You lost the job you worked a decade to secure. The business you poured your life savings into for 5 years collapsed. You feel like a failure, punished for some unknown transgression. The world sees you as someone who has fallen off the ladder. But the universe does not see ladders. It sees pathways and cycles. This failure was not a punishment. It was a course correction. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, saw that you were climbing a ladder that was leaning against the wrong wall. It saw that the role you were playing was becoming a cage, a costume that was suffocating your true self. And because you would not, or could not, let it go willingly, out of fear or duty or habit, the universe lovingly, and sometimes violently, removed it for you. It is an act of profound grace. It is the tearing down of a prison that you had mistaken for a fortress. The emptiness that follows is not a void of failure, but a sacred space of possibility. It is the universe clearing the cluttered table of your life so that a true feast can be laid out. This period of being lost is not a punishment, it is a pilgrimage. You have been forcibly removed from the well-trodden, paved highway and placed at the head of a wild, unmarked trail in the forest. It is terrifying, yes, but the highway only ever leads to the same, predictable destinations. The forest is where true life is found. The universe did not punish you by taking your job. It prepared you by giving you back your journey. Now let us speak of the heart, the devastating heartbreak that left you feeling shattered, unworthy, and abandoned. You gave your love, your trust, your future, and it was thrown back in your face. It feels like the ultimate cosmic punishment, a verdict declaring you unlovable. This is the story the ego tells, the story born from the transactional game. I gave my 100%, so I deserved 100% in return. But the universe is not an accountant of affection. That heartbreak was not a punishment. It was a masterclass in sovereignty. It was the universe holding up a mirror and showing you all the places where you had outsourced your sense of wholeness to another person. It revealed the cracks in your own foundation that you were trying to fill with someone else's presence. The agony you felt was the pain of those neglected parts of yourself crying out for your own attention, your own love. A relationship built on need is a house built on sand. The universe, like a loving parent, allowed the tide to come in and wash that house away, not to leave you homeless, but to force you to find the bedrock within yourself upon which you can build a true temple, one that no storm can ever wash away. The pain is the demolition crew. The loneliness that follows is the sound of the architects, your own soul, unfurling the blueprints for what is to come. The universe did not punish you by breaking your heart. It prepared you by making it whole from the inside out. It was teaching you that true love is not something you get from another, but something you discover within yourself and then, perhaps, choose to share. Consider the constant, frustrating obstacles. The feeling that for every step you take forward, you are pushed 2 steps back. The endless bureaucracy. The missed connections. The bad luck that seems to plague your every endeavor. You feel like Sisyphus, cursed to roll a boulder up a hill for eternity. But what if you are not Sisyphus? What if you are the river? A river's destiny is to reach the sea. Does it ever flow in a straight line? Never. It meets a great stone, and it must learn to flow around it. It meets a canyon wall, and it must learn to carve its way through it, over millennia if need be. It meets a drought, and it must learn to pool its resources, to go deep. These obstacles are not punishments designed to stop the river. They are the very things that give the river its character, its strength, its beauty. Without the stones, the river would be a stagnant canal. It is the struggle against the banks that makes the water sing. Your obstacles are not there to stop you. They are there to teach you. They teach you patience, creativity, resilience. They are the universe's personal training program, designed specifically for you. Each problem you solve adds another layer of muscle to your soul. The universe is not interested in giving you an easy life. It is interested in forging a powerful being. It does not hand you your desires on a silver platter. It presents you with the exact challenges you need to face in order to become the person who is capable of holding those desires. The constant resistance is not a punishment. It is the friction necessary for you to sharpen yourself into a blade that can cut through any illusion. And what of that deep, persistent loneliness? The feeling of being fundamentally misunderstood, an alien on your own planet. You sit in a room full of people laughing and talking, and you feel a gulf as wide as the ocean between you and them. Their concerns seem trivial, their conversations like the buzzing of flies. This is not a punishment, it is a sign of altitude sickness. You have begun to climb a mountain of awareness, and the air is getting thinner. You have left the crowded marketplace of shared illusions in the valley below, and you are ascending to a place of clarity and perspective. Of course it is lonely. There are fewer people up here. Most are content to stay in the valley, where the rules are clear and the company is plentiful. Your loneliness is not a sign of your inadequacy, but of your courage. It is the price of a view that others will never see. It is the universe filtering out the static so you can finally hear the subtle music of your own being. It is a sacred solitude. In this quiet, you are not being punished with isolation. You are being prepared for a deeper form of connection. A connection not based on shared social masks, but on a resonant truth that can only be found when one is first willing to be truly, profoundly alone. This is not the loneliness of absence, but the solitude of presence. Finally, let us look at anxiety, at that formless dread and confusion that can descend like a fog. The feeling that you have no idea what you are doing, where you are going, or who you even are. This feels like the ultimate punishment, the loss of the self. But this is the most profound preparation of all. Imagine a caterpillar. For its entire life, it knows one reality: crawling, eating leaves. Then, one day, an irresistible impulse drives it to weave a chrysalis around itself. Inside that dark, confined space, a terrifying and miraculous process begins. Its entire body dissolves into a kind of living soup. It is a state of complete formlessness, of total unknowing. If a caterpillar had a consciousness, this would surely be its experience of hell, of absolute punishment and annihilation. It is the end of everything it has ever known. And yet, it is from this primordial, unstructured soup that the genetic instructions for a butterfly emerge. The anxiety and confusion you feel is the state of being in the chrysalis. The old you, the caterpillar self that was defined by the simple rules of the social game, is dissolving. All the old certainties, the beliefs, the identities, they are turning to liquid. And it is terrifying. But it is not a punishment. It is a metamorphosis. You are not being destroyed. You are being unmade so that you can be remade into something far more magnificent. The universe is not punishing you with confusion. It is preparing you to fly. And so you see, a new world begins to dawn, a world where you are no longer a victim of circumstance, but a student of reality. A peace begins to settle in your bones, a peace that does not depend on external conditions. It is the peace of the deep ocean, which remains untroubled by the storms raging on its surface. The storms still come, the losses, the heartbreaks, the obstacles, but they no longer feel like personal attacks. You no longer ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Instead, a new, far more powerful question arises. What is this trying to teach me? What is this preparing me for? What part of me is being forged in this fire? This is the consequence of this wisdom. You stop fighting the current. You stop cursing the river for its twists and turns, and you realize that you are the river. The obstacles are not separate from your journey. They are the journey. You develop a quiet, unshakable trust, not that everything will be easy, but that everything has a purpose. The pain becomes a compass. The failure becomes a teacher. The heartbreak becomes an initiation. The loneliness becomes a sanctuary. You begin to walk through the world with a different kind of grace. You see others still frantically playing the transactional game, chasing rewards and fleeing punishments, and you feel not judgment, but a deep and gentle compassion. You understand their fear because you have lived it. This does not mean your life is suddenly devoid of sadness or struggle. It means that you no longer add a second layer of suffering on top of the first, the suffering of believing you are being punished. The initial pain is clean, a direct message from life. It is the second layer, the story we tell ourselves about the pain, that becomes a toxic poison. By releasing the story of punishment, you are left with just the pure experience, and you find you have the strength to bear it. So, the next time the hammer falls, the next time the fire rages, the next time you feel lost in the disorienting darkness of the chrysalis, I invite you to do something radical. Do not resist. Do not curse your fate. Do not ask what you did to deserve this. Simply be still, breathe, and ask with genuine, open-hearted curiosity, what are you preparing me for? Listen for the answer not in words, but in the subtle shift within you. The shift from victim to apprentice, from the one who is punished to the one who is being forged. For the universe is not your judge, it is your blacksmith, and it is in the process of creating something truly magnificent. You.